Hi, it's Joanna. Welcome to Nanny's Country Treasures. Today we are going to be making these chapstick and hand sanitizer cozies. Great stocking stuffers. Now let's get crafty. Okay, for these projects you're going to need your material. And I want mine to match, so I'm using the same piece. A fat quarter will work. You're going to need a pattern or the measurements, and they're right here. I'll give you time to write those down or take a screenshot or whatever. Then you're going to need fusible shear weight interfacing. Well, any interfacing that's lightweight will work, but I used fusible because I like it, and that's already open, and then my scissors, and I'm going to be using my clips and an iron. And I am just tracing this out with a pencil onto my fabric. And if you can't see a pencil on your fabric, you can use a marker or water soluble marker or whatever works, or you can even have paper and pin it down and cut it that way. Then I am going to cut it out once I have it traced on there and I can see it. Then after that, I am going to cut my strap, and then I am going to take my fusible webbing and I'm just going to lay my fabric down face up, and I'm going to cut it out. Cut it exactly because you don't want your iron to hit any of this. It'll get sticky all over it. And then go iron that down. And it's on there and it will look like this. It just makes your fabric a little thicker and easier to work with. So I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to place 2 clips there. And I'm going to sew across the top and down one side, not the bottom, just the top and the side. This is a trick for turning this little strap. I don't have a safety pin that small, I don't think. So I'm just going to take a glue stick, and put a little piece of ribbon there. And then I'm going to sew down and over the ribbon. Then I'm going to trim my thread. And then I'm going to pull this to get it out from the ribbon, and it was causing me a problem, so I ended up grabbing my tweezers so I could pinch the fabric and pull it, and that worked wonders. Now all you do is trim your ribbon off as close as you can get it, and then you're going to take I have a skewer that came out of the polyfill that I use, but you can use anything to poke it down in there. And then go iron it once you get your corners poked out. But we will be cutting this end off that we sewed together because it's not necessary on this and it makes it bunchy. Now I'm just going to pull this over my finger. I push my thumb in and then pull it down over my middle finger usually because it's the strongest, I think. I don't know. And then I'm just going to work it and then poke the skewer down in there and just work it until I get it out. And you want to make this as flat as possible with your corners, poking them out at the best you can. Before I press it, I want to make sure that I poke my end in, and you want to pull it tight, and it should look like this. And this is going to make your hem so that there's no ragged edges out. And it's just a little piece that you push under with your fingers. Then, that was me clipping that end off where the ribbon was. Then I'm going to stick it down in the end right here. And this is going to be the top. You can stick your D-ring on, your key ring. I use key rings because I actually have a different hook, and I hook it to my purse. I clip these to my purse. But anyways, you're going to stick this down in there. And then you're just going to sew across the top. And then you're going to fold. I sew this in, and then I fold this up, and you're going to sew all the way down your sides. Make it as even as possible. When you sew over that right there, back stitch. Go over it, back stitch, go over it, back stitch, and then that will make it, more secure so it don't pull out. Then make sure you clip all your threads, and then you can stick your finger in there and stretch it out a little bit. And then your chapstick will fit right down in there. And there you have it. And that is your chapstick cozy. And then you just push from the bottom to push it up, and your chapstick should fit snug in there, and they fit most chapsticks. Now we're going to work on a hand sanitizer holder. And these are sure handy in this day and age. So I have this template that I made, and I will make a pattern and put it on my Facebook group. So you want to make sure you join me over there. It's Nanny's Country Treasures. And once you get it folded, you're going to put the circle part or half circle part down on the fold. Now this is important. You want to make sure you got that bottom on that fold. And this is paper, so I have to pin it. The other one was just I cut it out from cardstock so that I could just draw it on, but this has to be pinned. But I am going to take a pencil, or you can use a marker or whatever, and I'm going to trace out where that cutout should be, because it's a whole lot easier to cut it like this. So then I get it traced out, and I'm just going to cut my pattern out. I marked where I was going to leave it open, and then I decided to put pins in it instead and just hold it. And then I am going to take these little, they're fingernail scissors, and they're curved, and it goes right around so easy. But you have to make sure you have a good sharp pair, not no cheap pair. And you're going to sew around your circle very slow and down your edges. Go around the circle slow so that you get it a good even circle. Now you're going to place this on your folded fabric again, except this time when you cut this out, you do not have to cut out the half circle. Now that that's cut out, I'm just going to cut this little piece off, and this will be my strap, and this one will be wider than the other one, and also this one has to be longer. So I am just going to fold this over and get it ready to sew, but this time you're going to sew the bottom and the side just like the first strap we did, except this one has to stay this way. Then I am going to flip it inside out, or right side out. It's inside out now. I have to flip it right side out. And now I have it, and I am going to take this over to my ironing board and iron it flat. Make sure you push your corners out to get them as flat as possible. Now I'm going to take the ironed piece, and I'm going to open up the back side. This is the back, which is just a square. And I'm going to place this down on the inside in the middle, fold it back over. Now, when I sew this, I'm going to sew down the side, leaving the gaps open so I can turn it. Sew, and when I go over the strap, I'm going to go back over it and back over it, just, reverse, go forward, just to tack it down tighter so that I know it's not coming off. Now, when you do that half circle part, you need to make sure that you slow way down so that you can get your stitches even as possible so it looks nice. Okay, I know this ain't very clear, but it's just a little thin stitch around that edge, but not on the folds. Now I just take snippers, and I am going to snip around the curve so that it can lay flat, but make sure you do not clip your threads. Now I'm going through the side hole that I did not sew, and I'm going to flip it inside out, both pieces, and I'm going to take that little wooden skewer stick, sorry I'm not in frame, and I am going to push out all my corners, and I'm going to make sure that I get the ones up in that bottom where that curve is. That's very important. You push those out. You want everything pushed out as good as you can so that the two pieces match as good as possible. Because when you sew them together, you want them to be the same so that it doesn't look so, as it won't look tacky. When you flip the back inside out, you should be able to reach in and grab that strap and pull it out, and then the rest of it is easy peasy. You just start poking out with whatever you have to poke your corners out with. Then when you have your corners poked out and it all ironed flat and looking nice and neat, you're going to put it together like this, and you're going to get it as even on the edges as possible and either pin it or clip it, because we're going to take it over and sew it. Now it's all sewn, and I'm just going to make sure that I clip all my threads to make it look nice. And this one is even, and it looks so good. Now I'm ready to add my snaps. These are Babyville snaps, but they're the same as cam snaps. And I think I have a set in my description box. I'm not sure. But anyway, you can get one of these at Walmart if you don't want to order it from Amazon. But you're going to put your first hole in, and then you're going to, I use an ink pen, an empty ink pen, to push down to get it, so it don't poke me. One goes on the inside, and then you're just going to smush it down. You have a male and a female. I always put the male on the bottom, the female on the bottom and the male on top. Then you're just going to push this one through the top, because this one will be seen. So the little, the cap goes on the top. You push it down. Then you squeeze your snap, and that sets it in there. And then look, snaps, easy peasy. I got it good. Now you put your D-ring on, or your ring on. This is not a D-ring. It is just a ring. And then I'm going to sew across it. Then I'm going to clip my threads, and I'm done. This little holder fits a 1 ounce or a 1.5 ounce Germex. This one just came from Walmart, but it fits also the ones that come from Bath and Body. They fit right down in there, and the opening comes right through the hole, and you're able to just pull it and get your sanitizer out. These are awesome to put on backpacks, purses, your wallet, whatever, and they make great stocking stuffers and gifts for this time of year. You can whip one up in just minutes, and it's so easy. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Remember, you are a blessing. Goodbye.